So let's see if I can arrange the camera. Here we go. What do we get? All right. Okay, that's pretty good. So, what is the distance I'm having?
Up there, Bhante.
Okay, that's good. So you can see there is a beginning of the window at the other side. It's not so clear, but this is a window. Okay, this is a window. And we will need it. All right, so we have here door, and then we have a window. So this will be the start of my walking practice. Oh, now, yes, you're already streaming, very good. So this will be the start of my walking practice. That means the start of the door, or I could have it as the start of the I call it jigsaw carpet. And then the end of my walking will be here at the beginning of the window. It's not 15 steps, but it's as many steps as we get in the video. So in your case, of course, you need to choose a path that's at least 15 steps. You will not be limited by a video. So my intention is to show you how to do walking practice with all of the tiny little details and tiny little rules that need to be followed in walking practice. So just one more check, you can hear me very well?
Yes, Bhante.
So in the beginning, we will stand at the start of our practice. We can keep our clock, whatever is your clock. What would I use as a clock? Let's say this will be, we'll use this one as clock. So I can put this one somewhere that I can see the clock on it. So this one is relatively big, and that's a great advantage. So this one will show me clock, and I can put it on the floor or on anything else, whatever way I want, so that when I arrive at this place, I just look at the clock and immediately I know the time. So I don't need to worry whether my meditation time is up or not, because I look at the clock and I know it right away. So we'll stand at the beginning of our walking path. It's very good to walk with your back erect and walk healthily. So to walk healthily, we need to move our bum into front and our belly into back, okay? It may be a little uncomfortable in the beginning, but it's healthier and you will have less pain during walking. And erect the back, maybe put the shoulders a little back. And we will see the floor in front of us. So we are not looking straight ahead, not at all, that's wrong. We will be looking at the floor right in front of us, down there. And we will make the first determination. For example, from now on for 30 minutes, I will meditate on muscles while walking. From now on for 30 minutes, I will meditate on muscles while walking. From now on for 30 minutes, I will meditate on muscles while walking. And we can start, we will start at the top of the head, and we continue to the forehead, eyes, nose. We stop at the end of the walking path, and we check, am I mindful, am I not mindful? So we do not say this aloud. We don't say anything aloud during any meditation. Instead, we say it in our mind voicelessly. And we check. So if I'm mindful, that's great. I'll continue being mindful. If I'm not mindful, it's great either, because from now on, I'm mindful. So that's great. I'm happy about it. And I continue. And we continue. Eyes, nose, lips. Am I mindful? Am I not mindful? Chin, cheeks, ears. Am I mindful? Am I not mindful? Back of the head and all of the head. Am I mindful? Am I not mindful? Neck, shoulders, arms. Am I mindful? Am I not mindful? Elbows, forearms, wrists. Am I mindful? Am I not mindful? Palms, fingers, tips of fingers. Am I mindful? Am I not mindful? Chest, abdomen, back. Am I mindful? Am I not mindful? All of the upper part of the body. Am I mindful? Am I not mindful? Buttocks, thighs, knees. Am I mindful? Am I not mindful? Calves, the heels, ankles. Am I mindful? Am I not mindful? Soles, toes, tips of toes. Am I mindful? Am I not mindful? All of the body. Am I mindful? Am I not mindful? And we then restart right at the top of the head. Top of the head. Forehead. Eyes. Am I mindful? Am I not mindful? And so on and on and on and on. So then when you finish, when you see that the time's up, then you come at the end and you can make the decision from now on, I will always be mindful, and then you can go to do whatever you want. You definitely should not finish, you should not like cut off your meditation practice in the middle of the walking practice. You don't want to do that. You always want to come all the way until the end of the path, and only then finish, either the end or the path or the beginning, but we should not cut it off in the middle. So there are some things to be careful about. So we keep our hands together and on the belly. We do not interlace them. We keep one on the other. Some people like to meditate like this. I think that's unnecessary strain. Instead, if you just place one on the other, and this the first hand you place on the belly is still totally enough. Some people like to fold their hands at the chest, and that's totally fine. Some people like to keep their hands at the back, connected like this. That is also totally fine. Some people like to keep them in the pockets or outside. I worry that's a little dangerous because your fingers may then start to play. You may start to move your fingers, and that may disturb you. So if you can avoid that, it's a little better. Two things, and that's okay. So now about the speed. So some people like to do walking meditation extremely slowly. And we don't do that, okay? Because the Buddha didn't teach it, so we don't do it, and that's it. It's that simple. So we walk as fast as is very natural, such as at the time when you go to the toilet and it's not too late. You don't go to toilet like this because you would not come on time, and you also don't go there too fast if you're not too late. So we want to walk to toilet in a very natural speed, and that's also exactly the same speed in which we meditate in walking. Then what else? Yes. Then there is the second problem, and that is connecting the body parts to the steps. So some people like to do like top of the head, forehead, eyes, nose, lips, and so on. We don't want to do that. Okay, we don't want to connect it to the steps. Naturally, they may get connected probably after some time, but we are concentrated on the muscles and not on the steps. Okay, just like a human being can hear a bird song while they're walking, a human being can be considering their muscles in the body while walking. You don't have to always be there with the soles of your feet. No, I don't accept that. A human being has an amazing power of being aware of something and doing something totally else. And we will be using this power for this practice. The Buddha said that it is possible, and the Buddha recommended, to radiate loving kindness while walking. So if you absolutely must be aware of your feet, then how would you ever do loving kindness while walking? So you do not have to be aware only of your soles every time you're walking. You can also be aware of loving kindness, and you can also be aware of your muscles, and you can be aware of your peace. Okay, so now I will be again doing some sound check. So can you still hear me?
Yes, Bante, we can hear you well.
Okay, very well. So this was pretty successful. Anyone has any question? This was all what I wanted to tell you today. Anyone has any question, anything you would like to suggest, or any concerns, ideas? I have noticed that many people are actually watching our YouTube meetings. So if they have a question, they can also ask. All right. So questions in YouTube from other people who are not participating in this retreat are also most welcome and most appreciated. Yes, Mrs. Min. How should I call you? Should I call you Min?
Yeah, my name is Ming. Dear Bante, I have a question about the walking meditation. When I try to practice the walking meditation, sometimes I'm too concerned about the muscle, and I did not really mind where maybe because I'm walking in the home and I suddenly hit the wall. Is that unmindfulness or mindfulness?
That is unmindfulness, because you need to meditate with opened eyes. You see the floor in front of you, but not only that, you also need to have some kind of ability to notice that a wall is approaching. All right. If you don't notice, then your eyes are apparently not opened enough.
Yeah. Okay.
There, you're not wide opening your eyes. but you're also not closing them almost. Instead, we are keeping them nicely open so we see the floor in front of us very clearly. And if there is anything in front, like for example, a person is coming up to speak to us, we immediately notice the person.
Oh,
If you
and
don't notice a person who's coming up to you during walking meditation, then something's wrong with the way how you're looking at the floor. All right, so you need to adjust that. And you can blink, of course. It's the same thing like in sitting, you know, like even in walking, if you have painful eyes, well, then you will probably stop and help your eyes so that they're not painful, right? And you will close them so that it's not worse, or you will try at least. So if there are tears, you need to take a tissue, you need to wipe out your eyes and so on. Ideally, this will not happen. I've never heard of anybody who would have tears in eyes during walking practice, only in sitting.
Yeah.
Okay, so adjust your seeing angle so that you can see if anybody comes. Try to create environment where nobody and nothing will disturb you. It's not the fault of the person who comes up to you and speaks to you. It's not the fault of the people who are singing karaoke or making some noises outside. No, that's it's the level to which you have adjusted your environment to meditation. So if you did not adjust your environment in such a way that it's peaceful, well, then it's not peaceful. It's just that simple. Suppose that you would come in the middle of a highway and you would be angry with the cars that they're you know, noisily, how to call it, trumpeting at you. Well, of course they're noisily trumpeting at you because you are in the middle of the highway. You have nothing, you shouldn't be there. Highway, but the people are there on the highway, you know, they're just in the cars. It's a little different. So in each environment, we need to understand what is usually, you know, expected from us. So you want to be in the middle of the highway? Yeah, you can just go get into the car and go through the highway in the car. And everybody's very happy, especially if you don't exceed the speed. But if you go there, you know, walking and think, oh, this is an amazing place for meditation, and you sit in the middle of the highway, it will not be very nice. So we need to understand that each place has its pros and cons. Each place, it's suitable for something else. So if you do not have an opportunity to find the best ideal place, well, then that's the way it is. So you accept it. Okay, so I cannot find heaven because I don't have the psychic powers to go to heaven and meditate there. You know, for example, Venerable Ashin Sarana had the psychic power to go to heaven and to meditate there. So he went to heaven, he meditated there. Why don't you? Why do you complain? Okay, so you cannot really complain that people are singing karaoke or that the dogs are barking or whatever else. No, it's your fault. If you want peace, just fly into the heaven and meditate there. There it's peaceful if you go to the right one. Okay, so we never blame the others for being noisy. Never. Okay, we're happy that they don't come and don't push us during meditation. And I'm speaking about this from my own experience. When I was 18 years old, I wanted to meditate. And I did meditate in my grandma's home. But my grandma worried that I'm following some dangerous religious sect, that I will then give them everything that we have at home. Maybe commit suicide or do something very evil, because they would surely ask me to do that. But I was just following Buddhist meditation teachers. I was just meditating Buddhism. And so I was in my room and I was meditating. And so sometimes my grandma would come into my room and she would say, you are again meditating, doing nothing. Horrible. And then she would close the door and do something else. One day I put chairs and a table right in front of the door, so it's not possible to open it. So grandma wanted to come in and again say, oh, you're doing nothing, you're meditating. So as she tried to open it, it was not possible. And so she was very angry. I was meditating while this happened, but of course I heard that. So she's like, oh, in my own apartment, he doesn't allow me to open my door. This is horrible. And then my dad came at that moment. I was so lucky, right? So right at that moment, my dad came. And my dad came and my grandma says, oh, you see, he doesn't even allow me to open my door in my apartment. And so my dad came and he says, oh, this is not possible. We need to resolve that. And so he was pushing the door and pushing the door. I was meditating throughout that time. He was pushing the door and pushing the door until the armchair, moved a little and he could open the door. He opened the door. He probably didn't expect it. So he came in very fast. And as he was running in through this, through this momentum that he got, he was running in through and he pushed me, into my shoulder. So I almost fell to the side. But then I corrected me and I continued in my meditation. And my dad says, he's just meditating. And he left. So how many times did that happen to you? So whenever somebody disturbs you in meditation, be happy. Because not everybody is so lucky to be disturbed like you are disturbed. Okay. So we are never angry if somebody disturbs us in meditation. We're always happy that nobody is pushing us, nobody is blaming us, nobody is insulting us while we are meditating. Okay, Tori?
When I was walking this afternoon, during walking meditation, and I noticed a few small, tiny insects on the ground, and I had to avoid them so that I wouldn't kill them. So I just want to tell everyone to be mindful of them.
Sure.
And also,
you can always stop on the walk. This is a little disadvantage of doing walking practice outside, that you will have there a lot of other unexpected challenges, but it is worth it, to either move those insects away or find a different path where you do not see insects. In the meditation center in Myanmar that I'm always thinking about and having in my memories, because that was so well done, there I asked my donors to build a large meditation hall. It was only for walking. It had only columns and a big roof. That's all. It had no walls. And it had 5 meditation paths, each of them about 1 meter wide and about 30 steps long. And 2 of them were made of were concrete. 2 of them, one of them was tiles. One of them was soft sand, like little grains. One of them was made of bigger stones. So then the yogis, as they were meditating, they could choose which surface, because they had to meditate barefooted. So they could choose which surface is most comfortable for them. So do they want to walk over the concrete or over the tiles or over the little gravel or whatever you call it, or over the bigger stones? Whatever they wanted, they could choose. And they did meditate. My students meditated there very often, very much. So it's great if you have more options. So then the practice is also more interesting. So now you can decide, I will meditate and walk over grass. You can actually meditate walking over grass. You do not need to have it grassless. You can have their grass. You can meditate over concrete, over tiles, over sand. Meditating over larger stones may be painful in the beginning. After some time, you get used to it. And as you walk, the stones get settled on each other. So in the end, it's actually not so painful. In the beginning, they're moving a little here, a little there, and so on as you walk over them. But after some time, it all settles down, all the stones, and it becomes relatively fine. So having more choice for your walking practice is good. And if it's raining outside, well, you will have to meditate inside anyway.
I also want to suggest everyone to change their diet, like not eat too much. Don't eat too much because it will make you feel sleepy. And then, because I'm on a vegetarian diet right now, so I think it's better for my body. Because when you eat too much meat, it will, I don't know, but it's just not so good for us during meditation.
Very well. Yes, eating less will result in probably sleeping less. And if you sleep less, you will have more time to meditate. And so you can then do your 6 hours of meditation. So very good. Thank you very much.
I have questions. When I do sitting meditations, the eyesight, we have to do like when my eye looking down, my head tend to down too, so not in upright positions. So do we have to? I don't know how to adjust my eyesight in front of me or looking down. And the second question is, can we
cannot answer 2 questions at once, just one by one.
Yeah.
So when you meditate, you need to make sure that your back is erect, but the head is a little tilted, and you send it a little back. All right. So the head is a little tilted and sent back. And then the eyes see the floor right in front of you. It can be 5 centimeters from your legs in front. It can be 20, it can be 30, 50 centimeters is still relatively fine. So let's look at that, how it looks like. So suppose you sit in the most common Burmese posture, where you keep your feet, calves, knees, and thighs all on the floor. And so you can look right here in front of yourself, or a little further, or a little further, or even a little further than that. I'd say 50 centimeters is like the maximum that still is relatively fine. If it's too far, it's not good. It seems it's not even healthy, and people are having problems. So we don't want to go more than about 50 centimeters, which could be about maybe 2 feet, about 2 feet. Yeah. So that, we are not giving here exact limit. We just don't want it to be too much. All right. 2 feet is not 50 centimeters, but 2 feet or 50 centimeters, whatever is the extent that you find comfortable, would be the maximum. And as you meditate, sometimes you will feel comfortable seeing this place, but then sometimes you feel more comfortable seeing a little further. And then again, a little closer. And then again, you may feel you want to see a little bit further. That's totally fine. You can change that angle. All right. And anytime you want, you can take your clock. You can, any time you're sitting in meditation or walking meditation, it's good to have your clock and keep it by the side here or here, so that anytime you want to see whether you have finished, you direct your sight to the clock, you see the time, and then back right in front of you, continuing the practice. So is that answered the question number 1?
Yep. Thank you. I got it.
What is the question number 2?
Number 2, can I whisper the words of each organs of the body instead of saying them in mind, or I speak it loud? Enough for me to listen, or say it, or just say it in mind. For example, I can whisper top of the head, forehead, eye, nose, lip, but in whisper the word out or say it in mind when we do meditation.
Is it comfortable for you to say it in your mind?
Yeah, but
Is it easy? Do you find it
yeah.
easy?
Yeah, but easy.
If you
But
find it
sometimes
easy,
I sometimes I know maybe I lost the focus, so I want to say it. Yeah, to
no
keep.
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
No way. No, you cannot. If it is possible for you to say it in your mind, you must not help in any other way. Just accept the fact that you need to meditate more. You did not do your 6 hours of meditation, so you don't really know how does your progress happen. You need to fulfill your 6 hours, and then these discussions will be much more fruitful.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Some people are not able to pronounce anything in their mind. So for those people, it is a totally different story. So those people, I would allow something else. But because I'm not aware of anybody here, I will not be saying. Yes, Mrs. Min?
I'm sorry. I have a question about myself because I meditated last time only 5 hours, but most of the time I feel peace. There's nothing disturb me. It's a very normal thing. Nothing worry, nothing. So should I turn like Tori, watch the peaceful, or I have to, should I watch the muscle again in the next 6 hour?
Meditation updates are a privilege for those who do not break rules.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. So as soon as you can fulfill the only one rule that we have in this retreat,
Okay.
then we can talk about any updates.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Mrs. Han Nguyen.
Dear Bante, while I meditated, I saw that my back was not erect. Yeah, so should I adjust my posture, or should I stay stay there and don't move?
Always correct your back during meditation. As soon as you notice that your back is not erect, you need to correct it.
Okay.
During meditation, we don't make any movement except two. One, changing your legs if you feel excruciating pain in your legs. Two, correcting your back if you notice it is not erect. There is no other movement that we make. Yeah, and blinking your eyes.
Okay.
Sometimes
And
we need to blink the eyes to water them, but after some time you will see that you do not need to blink your eyes. So you can then sit 60 minutes without blinking your eyes even once. But that will probably come sometime later. Yes?
I have one more question. Yeah, why I realized that I got distracted, I came back to the top of the head, but I found that I started again many times, and I got a bit angry with myself. So should I continue observing other parts, or should I come back to the beginning?
So these would be the two levels of strictness, all right? So either you have lost the place where you have got. In that case, you have to start from the beginning anyway, because you don't know where did you get. Or you still remember where have you got. For example, you're at your shoulders or you're at your belly. Well, then you continue. If you see that you're not losing your mindfulness anymore, that you only have your mindfulness a little weak, then you can get stricter and start from the beginning anytime you notice that the awareness of the muscles is accompanied by something else. So as soon as you notice that you're getting there, some secondary object accompanying your primary object, well, then you can move back to the primary to the start of your muscle cycle. Is it clear?
Yes, thank you very much.
Great. Any more questions? Any suggestions, concerns?
May I have a question?
Yes, please.
I'm not sure if I missed this, but I want to ask how long should we stop in a part when we observe our muscle? Like when I count to eyes, and how long should I stay there? Nose, everything, because sometimes I feel like I stop too long in one part and sometimes too quickly.
So you can stay as long as you want at any of the parts of the body. You can stay there 1 second, half second, 3 seconds, 1 minute. You can stay there 3 minutes, 5 minutes. But you need to do at least one muscle cycle during that 1 hour of meditation or during that one session. If you choose 15-minute session, well, then of course you will have to go faster. You cannot take 10 minutes for each part because you have just 15 minutes. But what I would expect that after some time, the times for each part of the body will even out. That means after some time, you will no more be interested in this part or another part, and you will not get stuck on any part for any time. Now, in the beginning, of course, you can, and I would like to recommend that. So whenever you feel like you want to be with any part of the body for a longer time than with the others, it's totally fine. Just make sure that you go systematically. You don't jump, you don't skip over any of the parts. But you can spend with one part 3 seconds, another part 5 minutes, another part 2 seconds, another part 2.5 minutes. Totally fine, no problem. But again, as the time goes, I'd expect that the times will even out. So you will then spend, let's say, with each part of the body, 3 seconds or 2 seconds or 1 second. As soon as you get very concentrated, very peaceful, very calm, then this will actually go super fast. Because all of the body is so relaxed and the mind is so clear that there is no need to spend with anything, any particular length of time. So you just go top of the head, forehead, eyes, nose, lips, chin, cheeks, and so on and on. And so you just have all of the body within a second or 2 seconds. It's totally fine. It's well done. So there is no really time limit for the muscle cycle except the session time that you have determined.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, Nguyen.
Yes, I would like to ask one more question. While we observe our muscles, should we just direct the mind towards that body part, or should we I feel like imagine the muscles and something inside that part?
If I ask you during a dark night, is the sun shining? Will you be imagining the sun?
Could you please repeat?
Suppose that it's dark night. Okay, do you know what's dark night? N-I-G-H-T. Suppose that it's very dark at night. Do you understand that? Yes. So suppose that it's very dark at night and I come up to you and I say, what do you think? Is the sun shining now? Or I will say the sun is shining. Do you accept that? What will you say? Will you say yes or will you disagree?
I will say there is no sun in the sky, but I will say the sun is not shining.
You'll say the sun is not shining. So you think that as soon as it's night, the sun stops shining? A lot of water is poured over the sun, so it's not shining anymore, and that's why it's dark.
I don't get your point here.
Yes. So I'm talking about the astronomical body. Do you know what is the sun? It's the big ball that's white and that's there out in the space.
Yeah, the real sun. Yeah.
Which other sun could it be? Like, So did I talk about some cartoon or about some fantasy? Surely I didn't. So the real sun. So if I come up to you at in the dark night and I will ask you, so is the real sun is shining now? What will you say?
I would say yes, because I know that the truth.
You know that is the truth, that it's shining. So will you have to imagine the sun so that you can say yes?
I don't hear clearly the last
Yes.
sentence.
Will you have to imagine the sun so that you can say yes?
No, I don't need to imagine.
You don't have to imagine it. And still you can accept that the sun is shining. And that's the same thing we are doing here. Why you don't have to accept it? Because you're working with something else. The aim of meditating on these parts of the body, muscles, sinews, bones, skin, heart, lungs, kidney, intestines, feces, urine, blood, and so on and on and on, is to gradually understand that they are the same, not that they're special. As soon as you start to worry where it is, how does it look like, and so on, you need to know it because you need to understand the truth. But as soon as you start to worry whether it's true and you start to focus your mind in that place and try to feel it, well, then you will not be able to recognize the sameness because you are recognizing the peculiarity. And we want to understand the sameness. So we do not really try to focus on these parts of the body. We only accept that this is the fact. Indeed, the flat piece of sinew at the top of the head has some heaviness. It has some weight. And it's changing with the time as we are aging. So we just accept that fact and we continue to the other parts. We will be later considering the similar characteristic in other parts of the body as well. So you do not have to feel it, you don't have to see it, you don't have to focus on it. No, you just accept that fact. If you can feel it, it's your advantage, but it's not necessary. Later, when you meditate on the parts of the body, you will get parts of the body which are not in the body. For example, sometimes we cannot really see any sweat in the body. There are times like that. Sometimes we cannot see any pus, P-U-S, any pus in the body. There are times like that. And still, the Buddha said that we have to consider their nature. So how will you do it? If you need to focus on them, or if you need to feel them or see them, you can't. All right. So we consider the nature of the body. Such is the body, that it has the ability of generating muscle matter. And this generated muscle matter is impermanent, it's changing, it brings pain, it brings suffering, and we don't have really any power over it. So it gets the shape, it gets the location based on our past karma and other different reasons. So we do not really have the power over this body. So we understand this nature in all of the body parts gradually, without the need to focus on them or feel them or see. But I will be showing you the parts of the body after about 5 days from now, when we start, no, actually much earlier than that, maybe about 3 days later or 2 days later. So I will gradually be showing to you these different parts of the body so that you know how they look like, where they are, and so you're not confused. When you're clear about where they are, what's their what's their color, ideally what's their function as well. Then you will gradually consider also their sameness. So you will be considering their specific characteristics, but then later you will consider their sameness. And then the sameness is what we want there. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Bhante.
Okay, 2.5 hours. A lot of things has happened today. Hopefully tomorrow. Now I have the list of the yogis, so we will not be waiting for that list. And hopefully the yogis also will be meditating 6 hours so that we can do more interviews, more updates, and things will get moving. It was a pleasure to see everybody, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be successful in everything you do.
Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much, Bhante. See you all.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye, everyone.